guys, on a Thursday night. Got Thursday night football in the books. Ready to talk a little bit of ball. Everybody chime on in. Love to help answer some questions tonight. How are we doing? How are we doing out here, guys? This is your chance. Fantasy football, Q&A, Thursday night football. Hop on in here. Let's talk it out. How's everybody doing tonight? Should I sell Pittman now? I have Nico, Ibuka, and Smith. Tough to sell wide receiver 6 on the season, you know? I like Michael Pittman a lot, and to be completely frank, I probably am not giving him up right now. I'm probably still riding him out here. Danny Dimes looking good. I think I'm not giving up on him. Just right where we're at for today. I've got Brett saying Ladd or Breece Hall. Probably going to go Ladd McConkey on that one. I think I just can't trust the Jets offense too much. Right now. I've got, let's see, is it better on this side? Is it better on that side? Doesn't even know. Microphone. We're just testing things out. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right, you know? Bye week coming, tough schedule left. Yeah, those are all true, but I'm not too worried about it, honestly. This Colts offense looks like they're damn near impossible to stop. So I think good things are coming from Michael Pittman and that Colts offense still. Jonathan Taylor, man, he's the guy you got to watch for, really. That's one of the guys in fantasy that right now you couldn't pay me to move off Jonathan Taylor. Kyle, thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping the follow here. Ronald is out here saying, do I start Dobbs or Jennings? Probably going to go with Juwan Jennings out of those two, even though I don't like either. But I will take a swing on Juwan Jennings this week. His target share was pretty decent last week. What are my thoughts on Spears? What would I give up for him? Yeah, in Dynasty, I think Spears is a stash play, right? Like, I don't think I'm in the range of giving a mid or early second for him, but I'd probably give up a late second-round pick to stash Tajay Spears if I'm like a running back needy team or kind of retooling, reloading, and I got excess picks. Nothing too crazy, though. I mean, you wouldn't see me going out and actively buying a lot of Tajay Spears right now. But that's just kind of where I'm at in a lot of my team situations. So I think depending on where your team is currently at, he could be an interesting stash. Caden saying Williams loves Stafford fantasy PPR. Yeah, man. Williams loves Stafford. Probably going to go with Caleb Williams for the rushing upside and going up against that Cincinnati defense. I feel like no matter what there, you're getting some pretty solid usage, you know. Hard to pass that opportunity up. Let's see. I was offered Lamb, Waddle, and for JSN. Would you do it? No. I think, like, I love Jackson Smith and Jigba. You guys know me. I'm a huge JSN guy, but even then, you know, I think Lamb and Waddle together should be able to outscore JSN the rest of the season here. Let's see. That kid, Evan, what's up, man? How do we feel about Achane in this offense? I mean, here's the thing with Devon Achane, right? Doesn't matter how terrible the Miami offense is. He's the only piece that works. You know, he's out here again with 17, 18 points. You know, this guy, he is consistent. And I was saying it last week on my streams. If you guys have been following for a while, you know already. But I just consistently say Devon Achane has got to be one of the most reliable players in all of fantasy football right now. And I think he is. You know, here he comes out on a week that, you know, this offense looks terrible. They don't even find the end zone. He still has 18 points. Imagine if there was one touchdown included on this. I mean, that's the issue with Achane overall this season, is that he's only got three rushing touchdowns on the season, and he's got a couple of receiving touchdowns to bridge the gap here. But, man, if you were just anybody else right now, or on any other team right now, I mean, and you were Devon Achane, be one of the best players in football by a pretty consistent margin. So I think that's something that is a little worrying. Thoughts on Trey Benson? Someone asked me for his price. He's my RB4-5. Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, there's nothing that's telling me that Trey Benson isn't the RB1 in Arizona for the foreseeable future. Now, again, this narrative can always change in the offseason, right? Because you know, Arizona could go out, they could retool the whole roster, they could go draft a running back in the first couple rounds, and suddenly we're looking at Trey Benson's situation a whole lot different coming into next year, right? Where I'm at today is that I think Trey Benson's worth a late first. You know, I think a lot of people would pay that. You know, you got a young running back with potential upside. People always love to buy the if, and the if on Trey Benson is, well, if they don't draft anybody or sign anybody in the offseason, he could be the RB1 in Arizona for the long haul. So I would say if he's your RB4 or 5, let's see if you can get a late first for him. And honestly, Isaac, here's the thing, too, is it's like sometimes you can't just get a first for somebody. People are a little stingy with their picks, and I've seen this happen, plenty of times across a ton of leagues. Here's what I'd suggest. If you can't get a first for him just straight up, then what I would do is try to include one of your picks and see if you can just kind of work that in there. Can I throw a third-round pick on top of Trey Benson and then get someone to pay a late first for him? I think that's a fair deal. I'm fine parting with a third if it means I can tier up and get a first-rounder. I got Jay Nose over on T-Witch. What's up, my man? He says, what are your thoughts on Chris Godwin? Yeah, man, Chris Godwin, I think he's a good stash play in Dynasty. In redraft, I don't know if he's going to have a ton of value for you coming into the last final stretch of the season here. Now, I'd trade a depth piece for him, something not too crazy, maybe like a tight end you aren't using, maybe like a Colston Loveland or someone you had aspirations for that didn't pan out. Now, if I'm in Dynasty, I think sending, a late second-round pick to stash Chris Godwin on a potentially retooling or contending next year roster isn't a bad move. Now, I think he is going to benefit from, having a full offseason healthy, being able to get back to his old self, reworking with Baker Mayfield. They did extend him. They'll be locked in here. He's going to have some production, especially if now they know Ibuka can play more on the outside. Maybe Godwin gets to sit comfortably in the slot and, really thrive in where we've seen him put up great numbers in the past. So I think Godwin I'm somewhere in the middle with. I'm not out on Godwin, but I'm not telling you need to rush out and buy Chris Godwin today, right? It's somewhere comfortable in the middle. I got CJ asking, how do I feel about Waddle? Well, look, I'd feel a hell of a lot better about Waddle if I wasn't dealing with Tua. But unfortunately, one comes with the other. I think Waddle's still a fine wide receiver 2 rest of the season. But I think, you got to temper your expectations on Jalen Waddle, right? He comes out tonight, and he doesn't have a bad night by any means. He comes out, and I believe he put up about... Why am I not seeing him? Right here. 14 points. Yeah, and that's solid wide receiver 2 numbers. He comes out, he shows you what he's got. Yeah, it's not wide receiver 1 overall by any means, and especially when you don't score a single touchdown on the night, I don't feel as good about it. But at the same time, he's wide receiver 13 on the season. We can't be too upset about what we're getting from him. I got good for morale over on Twitch. What's up, man? Redraft, needed wide receiver, traded K9 for Addison. Totally fine with this move. I'm a big Jordan Addison guy, as a lot of you guys know. Former Blindikoff winner. I always thought he had a lot more talent than people were, giving him and recognizing. I think a large part of that is that, he's playing behind Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver 1 overall, most years, and obviously not this year necessarily, but he's always dealing with revolving door at quarterback. Let's not forget he had Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. Now he's playing with Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy. Zero consistency there. All of that being said, Jordan Addison puts up top 23 season, top 21 season. What more can you really ask for out of a 23-year-old product? So I love Jordan Addison as a dynasty buy, personally. And even in redraft, if you are a wide receiver needy team, I got no issue with it. Cooper over on TikTok saying Parker Washington or Keon Coleman. I'll take Keon Coleman there. What's my opinion on Rico Dowdle? Rico Dowdle is here's the thing. He's a fine flex play rest of the season. Now, Dan Canales comes out this week. He says Rico's going to potentially be the RB1, going forward here. They've seen too much from him, and they wanted to honor Chuba, but now it's time to let Rico loose. That's all well and good. I think we got to remember, though, especially when I talk about it from a dynasty perspective, Rico's a rental just for the rest of this season. So if you don't already own Rico Dowdle, I'm not telling you to buy him. Now, if you own him and you have a chance to flip him and sell him for profit, do it. If you're a contending roster and you just want to use him to ride out the rest of the season, do it. You got a blessing here. I think you got lucky. All right, I got Barcode over on T-Witch. What's up, man? I'm doing all right, bro. Watched that game. A little disappointing. Had a fun members-only chat with you guys earlier in the Discord today. That was a blast. I'm glad everybody could come through and we could talk some ball. I got Calvin over here on Twitch saying, do you think Spears has the upside to lead the back in Tennessee in the future years? Yeah, I do. I think Spears could definitely be the starting running back, after Tony Pollard's done here. Thing is it's just more of, I am a believer in buying players in a good system. This Tennessee Titans team, complete dumpster fire, man. Like, Cam Ward doesn't look very good. The offensive line is trash. I don't think they have their coaching situation figured out at all. You know, they're going to need to flip direction and change regime. And it's like, when you're going to do all that stuff, normally these new guys, they come in with their own, mindset. They come in with their own strategy. I don't know if they're going to just look at Tajay Spears with a couple years left on his deal and say, yeah, let's build the offense around this guy. They'll probably draft somebody, or, they might even move on from Spears when he goes into the last year of his deal and try to get another little mini compensation back for him. Like, he'll probably be fine upside passing back if he finds the right system, I mean, maybe if he lands with a high-powered offense in the next contract cycle, he'll probably be a lot more of an RB2 then. But I just think in the immediate, like, there's just way more exciting guys I'm interested in buying. Like, I know it might be a little off topic, but, we're talking about buying backup running backs that could potentially have a role as a starter in the future. Let's talk about two guys that I'm way more interested in buying than Tajay Spears. One, Tyler Algier. He's a guy that is going into the last year of his contract. Probably would be a starting back on most teams in the league. Hasn't had the opportunity to do so. I know that Atlanta's got a couple contracts on the horizon here, looking at Drake London, looking at Bijan. Like, I don't think paying a backup running back is going to be too high on their list. So I think Tyler Algier could be a good sneaky buy for Dynasty this offseason. I think outside of that, we're talking about Zach Charbonnet. A guy that I think would be, a potential starter in Seattle moving forward if they don't re-sign Ken Walker this offseason, which I'd be pretty surprised if they do, to be frank. Like, the way they use Ken Walker doesn't really seem like they need him in this offense. And I'm not saying that he's not been, a solid back for them over the years. He has been, at times. But between the health concerns and his injuries and everything else, like, Tyler Algier, Zach Charbonnet, you got my full blessing to go buy these running backs and just stash them in Dynasty. I got Jaden Fountain, 22, over on Twitch saying, I want to move off Joe Burrow in my Dynasty Superflex. What should I target to rebuild? That's a great question. I mean, I actually just bought Joe Burrow in Dynasty the other day, and I sent Cam Ward, Keon Coleman in a couple seconds. This guy really wanted to rebuild and couldn't get the right offer. I thought I got a pretty good deal for myself there. Didn't even have to give up a first. Obviously gave up Cam Ward, but Keon Coleman isn't enough for me at this point that I really could get excited by him. I think if you're moving off Joe Burrow, if you're in a rebuild, I'd either, one, be trying to target a wide receiver that I feel comfortable, retooling around, whether that's a Jackson Smith-Njigba, a Ladd McConkey, a Garrett Wilson. Obviously, if it's JSN straight up, I'd probably do that. Now, if it's Garrett Wilson or Ladd, probably need a little bit on top. So, I'd say, Ladd McConkey in a first and a second would be a great haul for Joe Burrow if you could do it. I think to even get a little bit more creative, could you go get Teteroa McMillan plus Travion Henderson plus a first? Take swings on young guys that haven't had their full breakout yet, but potentially could run you great upside down the line. I like doing deals like that. Could you go get Amarian Hampton plus Teteroa McMillan and just get yourself, 2 rookie first-round picks from this last year, both of which I've liked what I've seen so far. I think those are some decent options for you. But at the same time, if you're in complete rebuild, maybe we just shy away from running backs altogether. See if you could go get, Ladd McConkey plus Zay Flowers plus a second, and just start there. At least you have some semblance now to build around. I think that's totally fine. Upper Penguin says, who should I bench, T. Higgins, Ladd, or Pickens? I think out of the group, you're benching T. Higgins. I mean, Ladd and Pickens are firing on all cylinders here. I've got Nathan over here saying, I just got offered Roma Dunze for Breece Hall and Vidal. I reckon I'm stacked with running back. Yeah. I think if you have got running back options, I'm just taking Roma Dunze here, and I'm not thinking twice about it. I got Spotless over here. What's up? Saying, should I flex Rico Dowdle or Chase Brown? I'd be pretty comfortable just flexing Chase Brown here. I mean, Rico's probably going to see 60% of the touches, but at that point, why am I playing for 60%? Hell, just give me Chase Brown. He's going to get the lion's share of the workload here. I got Gerard over here. Gerard, if you're not already a member of the Discord, my man, would love to have you in the Dynasty Trade Center. He says, I traded CD Olave CD plus Olave for Mika Adunze and a late first. Thoughts? This is okay. Personally, like, I think this is buying a lot of the hype train on Mika. It's not that I don't think Ibuka is very talented. I do. I just think the production you saw out of him out of the first 5 to 6 weeks of this season, I honestly don't know if he ever repeats that in his career, just because the touchdown numbers were so inflated. I mean, through 6 weeks of football, he was averaging over a touchdown a game. And as a wide receiver, you're talking about an unbelievably elite, group that's ever been able to do that, and I just don't think that, we're talking Megatron style numbers, right? I don't know if Amika is that guy. I don't know if he's the red zone threat for the foreseeable future. Now, I love Adunze, and, a first is nice, but you said it's late. Personally, I think you could have gotten more for CD and Olave here. Like, I value Olave and Amika around the same. I'm not going to lie. Like, I know that's probably, like, a statement that you guys are going to be like, that's crazy. Amika Ibuka is going to be a second-round startup pick next year. Maybe. Let's see how the rest of the season goes. I mean, he's at 3 single-digit performances in a row here, and, still no Mike Evans and stuff. So we'll see if Amika can find what he was doing, at the beginning of the season here. But Rigged Monkey, what's up, man? Was Lamar stat padding why Henry get no TDs? Honestly, man, I mean, they tried with Derrick Henry. Like, early in the game, you saw him get 2 goal line, touches right in a row on the 1-yard line, and it just didn't pan out. And unfortunately, have you seen that a lot this season? Like, I don't know what it is, whether defenses just absolutely know that they want to pound it with Derrick Henry when they get to the 1-yard line and they're determined to shut that down, or if Derrick Henry's just kind of lost his gap in vision, or if that Ravens offensive line isn't creating the blocks they need to on their goal line packages to get Henry into the end zone, because they've tried multiple times this season. I've watched him get stuffed 2-3 times in a row on the goal line, and so unfortunately, just don't think Derrick Henry is going to be that answer that everybody was hoping he's going to be. Even on the second half of this season, I just traded him away in Dynasty. I feel all right about it. Jaden Fountain over on Twitch is saying, is Stephon Diggs for an early second and Torrey Horton fair? Hold on. I think I'm lagging over on Twitch. Let's see if we can get this stream back up and running here. We are. Sorry, guys. A little bit of internet trouble there, but hopefully you're back with me. I got Jaden Fountain over here saying, is Stephon Diggs for an early second and Torrey Horton fair? Yeah, I think that's totally fair. I mean, I like Torrey Horton a lot. If you're rebuilding, I would take this deal. You get an early second-round pick. If that turns into a Scadaboo and you got, a potential wide receiver 2 for the future here, I think that's a huge W for you, personally. I got Zedid saying, looking for an invitation to the 200 Club. Do we think my lineup can do it? May, Tracy, KW, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra Tet. I don't think that's going to be a 200-point week, but I do think you got upside for sure. I mean, that's a good lineup for the week. All right, Coop. What's up, Coop? Thanks again for the gifts, as always. Love seeing you pop in here, man. Appreciate everything you do for the stream, my man. Thanks for the heart me's. I got Tony coming through saying, just traded Hunt and Addison for Devontae. Yeah, that's a huge W. That's a massive W right there. I'm good with it. Henry's fine. He's already got 2 TDs from the goal line versus the Bears. He's getting 20-plus carries per game. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Like I said, like Derrick Henry, he didn't have a bad game by any means, Obviously, we got a little first down bonuses in this league I'm showing here. So, stats are going to be a tiny bit higher than what you've seen before. But, I think Derrick Henry, he'll be fine. He'll be totally fine. If I can even get this loading. Sleeper doesn't want to work for me here. There you go. I mean, yeah, if he had put a touchdown in tonight, you'd be looking at a 20-point performance, so can't be too mad about it. All right. Mad says, start Goff or Flacco. You got to go Jared Goff here, man. I think you got to just trust that Lions offense a hell of a lot better. Oscar's asking, what website is this? This is the Sleeper app, man. Sleeper app. It's my favorite fantasy football app by a mile, and they got a good desktop, too, in case you need to use it. I got CL saying, I was 6-0 till Puka got hurt in bye weeks. I feel you, man. I was in a lot of the same in a lot of these leagues these last couple weeks, 6-0 and now 6-2. But to be frank, sometimes you got to just weather the byes. Don't shake your team up too much and just stick with it. I got someone in here asking, do I trade Adams? I'm not thinking that Devontae Adams is a guy I need to trade away by any means. I mean, Devontae Adams is a top 10 wide receiver right now, and he's on a high-powered offense, and he's getting an insane amount of red zone usage. The targets in the end zone are crazy exciting. I mean, I don't see the need to do this. I got Calvin over here on Twitch saying, not to circle back, but you get my brain thinking. I have Spears on a contending team. Running backs are CMC, Taylor, and Javonte. Don't have a lot of picks for future years. Would you trade Spears for Tyler Algier to continue some future RB depth? Yeah, I probably would. I mean, I'd probably just rather have Algier. I don't think that I look at it this way. Let's say Tony Pollard goes down. Fine, you have Tajay Spears in an offense that you got a starting running back in an offense that, has less touchdowns than God himself, right? Like, literally, you're not getting anything out of this Tennessee Titans team right now. So, your options are to switch it to Algier, who's literally been outscoring Tajay Spears regardless, or potentially has the upside to be a bona fide RB1 if, by some chance, God forbid, Robinson goes down. And then next year, yeah, maybe Tyler Algier just gets a shot to be a starter somewhere. Maybe he goes to the Texans. Maybe the Chiefs bring him in. You never know. So I think you got to really consider all your options here. And for me, man, I think Dynasty is all just about predicting what's coming up ahead, right? And trying to put your ducks in a line. I mean, I hate to toot my horn too much, guys, but yeah, I play in over 20 leagues and been doing this 11 years. And, there's a lot of leagues this year that I could show you, pull them up on the screen, and I will right now. I got a couple leagues, especially for you guys watching over on Twitch right now and can see the full display. Like, let's look at this team that I got here over in this league. This is a league that I fully planned on punting entirely. Just absolutely no chance I was going to win this year. Came into the startup draft just already knowing, okay, I don't have anything to play for this year. And sorry if you're having a hard time reading it on the horizontal display, but I got Mahomes, Javonte Williams, Devon Achane, Josh Downs, Amon-Ra, Pittman, Noah Fant, A.J. Barner, Devontae Adams, Ramondre Stevenson, Brock Purdy. It's a start 11, tight end premium, start 2 tight end every week. And, I got Hampton on the bench here because of the injuries, but I know you're looking at that lineup like, oh, it's not that bad. I mean, bro, I took Michael Pittman in the 11th round. But, again, like, just to help you with your dynasty strategy and stuff, and I just want to talk on this for a second. Like, this is a guy that, and I love to identify these trends, 3 straight years in the top 20, 17, 20, 13, right? He has the broken back last year. He's playing with Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's, god-awful, can't even complete a pass. And you got guys thinking, oh, I'll give away Michael Pittman for a second-round pick. And he was. I watched him go for seconds and a couple of thirds and Romeo Dobbs in a third in the offseason. This is a guy that's a perennial top 20 guy with three good years in the league at him at age 27 going into his 28th season. Guess what? He's wide receiver 6 overall. Let's see where I got him in the startup draft this year. The 1102. I got him in the 11th round when we did this startup draft in August, like for one of my listener leagues. Like, I hate to say it, but I knew these things were coming. I mean, same thing with Javonte Williams here. I think I got him in the 15th round. I got him at the 1502 in this startup draft this offseason. He's RB5. I mean, again, I'm telling you guys, if there's guys that are grossly undervalued on the market and you can take swings on them, you got to do it. And in this team right now, I thought this was a team left for dead. I am 6-2. I have, let's count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 26 firsts. I have 5 26 firsts in this league, and I'm 6-2. This league was another punt league that I decided to come out and just, send the team away in the startup draft because I wanted to take a little bit of a punt strategy. I'm 8-0. I am 8-0. And it's mainly because I picked up all these guys in the later rounds that are giving me great production and were grossly undervalued. Another Javonte Williams pickup. I'm playing Vidal, Rico Dowdle, Noah Fant, Josh Downs. Guys that you're like, oh, how is this guy surviving out here? I got 4 firsts, and I'm 8-0. And I think it's just like, not to, try to come on here and be like, oh, everybody watch me. I do things so much better. I mean, I kind of do. I think I made a video on this the other day, but I think a great strategy is just, having the ability to, in the middle of the season, like a time like right now, if you're going to retool for next year, let's just pick up tons of backup running backs for really cheap. Like, send a third, send a fourth, send some depth piece wide receivers. Like, you know the amount of wide receiver guys that you have on your roster that you're like, oh, I could maybe get some play out of this guy. I could use this guy, whatever. And they just don't do anything for you. You know, I mean, Darius Slayton's a great example, right? Like, this is a guy that people stash on their roster and hold, and they're like, maybe I'll get some starts out of Darius Slayton. Like, dude, he's done nothing for you. Jalen Tolbert, done nothing for you. You know, there's all these guys that you stash on your roster, and you're just like, Demario Douglas, oh, yeah, he could maybe be of value. They don't do anything for you. But you know who does? Ramondre Stevenson. He's putting up starting running back numbers this year. Rachaad White, you're getting starting running back production from him for several stretches, for a solid stretch of the season here. You're getting Rico Dowdle coming out of the woodwork, exploding, probably giving you, potential RB2 upside the rest of the season. You know, you got guys like Algier who can be spot starts, Zach Charbonnet who can be spot starts, finding the end zone almost every week. Like, I'm telling you, in Dynasty, the way to play Dynasty is don't stash all these wide receivers on your bench. Stash a ton of backup running backs and ship your late-on picks for them in the middle of the season and just hoard them, because chances are you need your top-end wide receivers. Spend on those guys. You don't really actually need to be spending to get the top running backs, because being able to print liquidity with these running backs is incredible. You know, I mean, like I said, if you're any of these owners now and you got guys that are running back needy, you're probably getting a second plus for Ramondre Stevenson. You're probably getting a second plus for Rachaad White now. And now you're actually giving yourself a chance to re-roll next year and go find a Cam Scatterboo, go take a Jaden Higgins, a Trey Harris, someone that could have actually upside for you in the future. Guys, I see some people over asking for the Discord. The Rugs guy over here, I'm happy to get you guys the Discord. If you want to hop in the Discord and have private chats with me, we do members only streams just like we did today for over 2 hours. So you can talk one-on-one with me in the voice channel. You don't have to type it. We'll get you on a voice call. Totally free to join. Send me a message on whatever platform you're on right now that says Discord, and I'll send you the invite code. If you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, simply go over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, just the same username you see here with a .com on the end of it. There's a big button on the homepage that says join free Discord. Hop on in there. Be happy to help you guys as best I can. Would love to do what I can for you guys out here and try to win a lot of championships. Jaden Fountain's over here saying, do you have any early favorites for the first pick in the upcoming rookie draft? Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Jeremiah Love. I think it's going to be Jeremiah Love, and we'll see, obviously, how the rest of the college season shakes out, but that's a guy who's number one on my radar right now. I mean, if any, quarterbacks come out here and start killing it, maybe Sellers has a massive breakout. No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be Jeremiah Love. But, that's another reason. Gotta get in the Discord. Gotta follow along here. I'll definitely tell you the guys I love. I mean, if it's any consolation going into this season, loved Tedero McMillan, loved Tyler Warren, both of which have panned out to be phenomenal prospects. Was a huge Cam Scatterboo drafter. He was a phenomenal pickup in your early second round here, and I watched him fall to the 207 in several of my rookie drafts and snagged him up, traded up to get him, running back 8 before his injury. I mean, got to trust the process with the scouting here. Jake Knows over on Twitch saying, should we, Jake Ferguson owners, be worried? Nah, I wouldn't, man. I mean, he's down, definitely bound to have one down game after being tight end 1 on the season, so can't freak out too much here. Calvin saying, you're changing out my Dynasty braid works, and I love it. Hell yeah, man. Happy to help. I mean, again, I'm not talking bad on any other creators out there. There's a lot of awesome Dynasty guys, but I do genuinely believe I play Dynasty way different than other folks, and honestly, the strategy works. I'm out here winning a lot of leagues, so definitely happy to help you guys try to change the way you view your Dynasty team. Hey, I got the boys out here in the chat. What's up? I got my guys, Fantasy Goat. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Y'all are kind out here tonight. All right, I got 70 plus over in the chat on TikTok. Guys, if you're not already following, please go ahead and drop a follow so I can pin your comment here, make my life a bit easier. If you haven't checked me out over on YouTube or Twitch, please come through across platforms. Guys, if you haven't already seen too and you do play Dynasty, we launched a Dynasty trade show over on YouTube about 2 weeks ago. We just posted episode 2 last night. I got a special guest fantasy creator on every single week with me to break down your Dynasty trades from the Discord. We also have a rapid fire redraft section in there where I go through some redraft trades also pulled from the Discord. So if you guys want to get featured on the show and you just want to see more of my takes on players and what I'm thinking, please go ahead, check out, you give the video a like. Really trying to get something going over there. I think we got an awesome future ahead of us in the Dynasty trade space, and I'd love to talk to you guys more about it. So if you can go interact with those videos, mean a lot to me. I got folks over on the Twitch right now saying, saying, yo, should I trade Brees for Chase Brown in a second? Here's the thing. If I'm a contender, I would consider doing this, but just because Chase Brown has such a good playoff schedule. But to be completely frank, man, I think Brees Hall goes out this offseason and signs a massive contract somewhere, gets a Kyron or a James Cook-style extension, 3 years, $11 million, something like that. And personally, sorry, guys, just had to respond to something real quick. No, I was just saying I'd be holding Brees Hall here. I'd be holding Brees Hall. I think he's going to go sign a Kyron Williams, James Cook-style contract out here, and I think his dynasty value is just going to go way up. Like, he's one of those guys where, kind of just like James Cook did this offseason, you know, people were trying to panic, move off him, whatever. Second he signs the deal, boom, value goes way back up. That's how I view Brees Hall, but better. You know, Brees Hall is just a better running back, in my opinion. Just worried about Chase Brown's workload. No, I'm going to keep Brees Hall here. Now, I'll admit, for the rest of the season, probably doesn't help you a ton and give you way more upside, but I do think, you know, going into next season. Do you think he's getting traded? No, I don't. I just think every season we always expect there to be big trades going on at the NFL trade deadline, thinking it's like the NBA and nothing ever really happens. I just think it'd be shocking if they trade him. You know, if they do trade him, I'd like, not from an NFL perspective, but just from a fantasy perspective, I'd love to see him land with the Kansas City Chiefs, but I don't think that's going to happen personally. All right, I got Ryan over here on TikTok saying Jaden Daniels and Swift. I get Lamar and Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, I'm taking the Lamar side by a mile. Bro, some of these people in my league are trying to get CD so much, but it's like dynasty trades, not good redraft trades. I feel ya. Jaden saying, what should I try to get for Kamara? Yeah, I mean, if you're rebuilding, I've always said, like, Kamara's worth more than a second to me. He's like a second and third. So I would be fine taking a second and third round pick for Kamara. I'd hope it's an early second, but I think at this point it's probably the best you're going to get. Like, if you could roll Kamara into, like, a younger asset, like, maybe you try to tier up, right? Like, could you take Kamara in 2/3 and see if you could go shopping out there for, like, a Xavier Worthy, you know, someone who's probably had a little bit of a value dip after the Rashee Rice comeback and how well he's playing. Could you roll Kamara into a guy like Khalil Shakir, who I actually think gives you pretty consistent production, is kind of like a sneaky, you know, wide receiver 3 flex play on a weekly basis? You know, something like that interests me. But, you know, outside of that, I think just baseline value, a second and a third is pretty fair. Gadsden and Worthy for Ladd in a third. Oh, yeah, I'll take Ladd here. I'll take Ladd comfortably here. I have McBride and Warren, so I thought I'd sell. Yeah, I mean, Merrick, is it a tight end premium league or no? And, like, even if it is, I'm still fine taking Ladd here. But I watched in a tight end premium league yesterday, one of mine, Arondre Gadsden, go for a 26 first straight up. I mean, it's projected a late first, but, again, like, definitely interesting. It's not a tight end premium league, then yeah, let's do it. Jano's saying, I have Josh Allen and Daniel Jones. I'm thinking about getting rid of Josh for future picks. If it's a one quarterback league, maybe. I think the thing is like, you got to make sure you're getting a haul for Josh Allen. Like, as a good example, guys, I can use trades I did. Where was it? I think it's in this league. Let's see if I can pull it up for you here in the trade history tab. Just so you guys know, this guy's making up fake trades on his profile. No, I do these fucking trades. You guys always think I'm lying out here. All right, here you go. You can see it right here. Can you guys see? 4th and Lynch's Dynasty PC. This is me right here. Dynasty price check. Fun fact. Okay. I did Josh Allen, Devonta Smith, and a 25 second round pick For Jackson Smith and Jigba, CJ Stroud, a 26 first and a 25 first that ended up being the 102. So I took Amari and Hampton, JSN, CJ Stroud, and a first for Josh Allen and Devonta Smith. I think this aged really well for me. Obviously, I was very high on JSN going into the season, and this is before we had taken a snap. I also liked Hampton. But this is the type of trades I do for Josh Allen. You know, like you need to get a stud young wide receiver. You need to get a solid up-and-coming running back and still a young quarterback in return. Obviously, I had added the Devonta Smith side here. But then, as you guys watch, I did this trade on the 23rd of August, came out, and on September 9th, so the week the season was kicking off, before anybody had seen the Texans play, I flipped C.J. Stroud and Chris Godwin for Drake May and Stephon Diggs. And I walked away from going into a retooling offseason, wondering how to keep my team competitive, and I walked away with essentially flipping Josh Allen for Drake May while also getting Jackson Smith and Jigba, Amari and Hampton, and a 26 first-round pick. And not to, like, brag too much out here, but I don't know how you could retool your team better, quicker than that. I'm pretty good at this. I also just had my feelings, you know. I had a feeling Drake May was going to be good, and I went for him. I had a feeling Jackson Smith and Jigba was going to be good. I went for him, and look at where we are today. Definitely the takes are hitting, so not to toot my own horn too much, but that is why I'm here giving advice. Barcode saying I'm 1-7. This guy's 1-7, holding on to Puka for his life. I offered CD Fergan Judkins for him, so he gets every position. And Bro said immediately, Amon-Ra and Bijan together, dude, that's crazy. I mean, even you're overpaying for that. I wouldn't have even offered what you offered. So, good on you. Good on you. All right, guys, if you're watching over on TikTok, go ahead and drop a quick follow so I can pin your comments. All right, we got Mike McDaniel in here. It's true. I am looking a little Mike McDaniel-esque tonight with the glasses and everything. Again, unfortunately, I feel like I'd be a lot worse off right now if I was Mike McDaniel. This man's going to get fired for sure. Dude, we watching what Mark Andrews is doing out here, though? Mark Andrews being a little bit relevant again. Kind of interesting. I got Diego over here saying I got CMC, Kittle. I gave up Jefferson and Bowers. Yeah. I'm thrilled about this. You got CMC, and buying CMC in the modern fantasy market is damn near impossible. Chris says, do I start Harrison over London and Genty? No, you're not. I don't think Marvin Harrison is worth a start until I see consistent production out of the man, and I haven't yet this season. Shmeez saying, dude, wanted JSN, but he got snagged the pick before me. Yeah, you hate to see that, man. You hate to see that. Definitely was a big JSN guy this offseason, and I'm feeling very validated on him. Let's see. Barcode saying my other receivers are Amon-Ra and Rashi, Tucker Craft. That's fair. I guess you do have the depth to spare. Alepeño, what's up, man? Welcome back in. He says, Marv Golden, 2 seconds, and a 4th for T-Mac and Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, I'll take T-Mac here. I'll take T-Mac comfortably, man. Last King vibe, he says, you think pick up Andrews for bench? I got Kraft. Yeah, if he's on your waiver wire, I'm good. Yeah, he's saying Hutch, but I bet this is a IDP league. I bet it's a IDP league. And honestly, I love playing IDP, so hats off to you. I think that's a ton of fun. All right, I got Izzy over here saying traded Taylor for Jacobs and Javonte, brother. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, I think it's hard to move off Jonathan Taylor right now since he's grossly outscoring damn near every single player in all of fantasy. But at the same time, I would hope the two of them keep you a little bit more injury insulated and still make up the same level of production for you, splitting that asset. I got Ahmed over here saying Gibbs, Goddard, and Hunter for James Cook, Pickens, and Evan Ingram. Yeah, I'll probably be taking the James Cook side just barely here. I just think you're getting a lot more out of George Pickens than you are out of Travis Hunter. Thanks for coming through. You are right, it's a 12-man league. Thanks, brother. Of course, bro. Of course, I got you. Guys, if you're watching over on TikTok and you're not a follower, go ahead, drop a follow, and then I can pin your comments up. If you haven't checked me out over on YouTube or Twitch, would love to see you guys over there as well. If If you haven't caught any of the episodes of my Dynasty Trade Show with a redraft trade segment as well, it is live on YouTube. Episode 2 just got posted last night. Would love your guys' support on that. Go over, take a watch of the episode, drop a like, drop some comments. Appreciate you guys so much. I got Calvin saying, I can't believe how good JSN is doing. That offense throws the ball sub 30 times. Oh, yeah, man. His efficiency metrics are just unbelievable. Jalapeno says, yeah, IDP league. Might not go for it, but I'm willing to do a mid-first instead of 2 seconds. I think I'd rather do the 2 seconds, man. I'd really love to hold on to that mid-first if you can. I offered CMC and CD for JT and Ladd. Bro said no. That's crazy. Last King said, would you start Dart or Lawrence? I'd start Dart. Rushing upside is kind of lit. Calvin saying Twitch is hopping over here. It's true, dude. Good to see folks coming through for the Twitch stream tonight. Appreciate you guys starting to migrate over. I'm telling you, the viewing experience is going to be better over here. Chat experience is better. Love building the community with you guys. So thanks for checking me out over on the Purple app. Love to grow a nice little following over there. Ellie, what's up? Ellie says, would you start the Bears defense versus the Bengals or the 49ers versus the Giants? Probably 49ers. I do think Joe Flacco's got them at least roaring a bit here, and the Bengals have been putting up points, so I think I'm going that. We've got Gabe saying, I traded Rico, Henry, Adams for Gadsden, Nico, Kyron, Sutton. Yeah, this is fine. You know, I think this is a fair trade. I'm not going to say you won or lost it, really. It's a fair move. You got a top 12 wide receiver in Cortland Sutton for the season. You know, Nico Collins, I hope, has a far better second half than first half. And Kyron will probably get you most of the production of Henry here, too. So, Barcode saying people in my league just hold on to top players and they're lacking everything. Dude, that's the most annoying thing ever. I hate playing in leagues where guys just can't seem to find their lane. Like, how are you, like, so unaware that, you know, you got to, like, retool or rebuild or, you know, try to go for it if you're starting to lose all these games in redraft. I got Wyatt saying I traded Lamb for Breece, Pollard, first, second, fourth. Thoughts? I don't love this. I don't love this at all, to be completely frank. I'm sorry, Wyatt. I just think, like, if you were going to trade away CeeDee Lamb, got to get some foundational cornerstone assets to build around. This is just not a good trade. Like, if you're going to move off Lamb, I need Ladd McConkey, a first-round pick, and, you know, a Travion Henderson, a running back that hasn't broke out yet, that has some upside. You know, I would have done Ladd a first and Ken Walker. You know, I would have done Garrett Wilson and Kyron, you know, like I would have done Teteroa McMillan, Judkins, and a second. Like, I think those are all things that are way more important than, honestly, buying a Breece Hall and a first and a second. That's just me. I'm sorry, man. I don't mean to roast you. Just not a trade I like personally. But again, that's why I wish you guys were in the Dynasty Trade Center. The Discord's totally free. If you post your trades in there, we got a great community, myself included, that goes through every single day, helps you guys make the right trades, make sure you don't get fleeced, you know, help you with your roster. I'm telling you, like, there isn't a better free resource out there right now, and I'm not going to lie, probably not going to stay free forever. You know, we're growing quite the community over there, and I already got 1,000 of you asking me questions every single day, so eventually I'm going to have to thin out my time, but you're getting me for free for a while here while I'm on the growth pattern. Last King says someone wanted a QB from me and also Jefferson for a trash trade. You don't get a QB. Like, yeah, no, I get that. Someone sent me an offer of Mika and Jalen Warren for CD and Judkins. Nah. I traded Achane for Lamar and Judkins. No, I'm good with that one. Totally fine with that one. Is Henry cooked? No, I thought Henry had a decent game. You know, I mean, it's a bummer he doesn't find the end zone, but if he did, you know, you'd be looking at a 20-point game. Sees 19 attempts on the ground, goes for 120 yards. Like, Henry's going to be just fine. Ahmed saying, sorry, Ahmed. He says, I'm a little nervous about trading Hunter. Will he not keep going and snagging the wide receiver 1 role? Maybe, but honestly, man, Brian Thomas Jr. is a stud. I'm still a believer in him. I don't know if I'm going to say, Yeah, he's taking the wide receiver 1 role. Like, I think he'll always be a wide receiver 2, at least before Brian Thomas Jr. gets the hell out, which I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. All right, I got McCoy in here saying, is my team decent? 10-man, Purdy, CMC, Jalen Waddle, DK, Jonathan Taylor, Kyron. Yeah, this is a loaded team. You're good there. I ain't too worried about that. Guys, if you're watching over on TikTok, make sure you're following so I can pin your comments up here. Raphael says, what would you move Kyron for? Yeah, man, if I'm moving off Kyron Williams in Dynasty, I'd need a decent package for him. You know, he just signed the extension, and he is an RB1 on a high-powered offense. So I think a fair shift for Kyron would be like, if you're looking to move him into a receiver, could I go get Chris Olave plus a second? I think I'd be fine doing a deal like that. You know, maybe go get Tedero McMillan just straight up if somebody's not completely and utterly sold on him already like I am. Maybe consider trying to flip him for Jalen Waddle plus, like Kyron Williams in a second for Jalen Waddle in a first. I'd be fine doing a deal like that. I think those are all good moves, you know. All right, I got Adrian in here saying Dobbins and Vidal for Pittman. This is going to be a yes. I'll take Michael Pittman here. I'm good with that. Jordan says, yo, what's up, Jordan? How are you, man? Good to see you. Appreciate the follow, Country Slime Golf. Appreciate you. Kai saying, thoughts on my team? Daniels, Derek, Nico, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty damn good roster right there. 10-man league. I would expect that from a 10-man league. And there's my guy popping in per usual. Love to see him every night. Flowshot, how we doing, man? How are you tonight? Thanks for joining through like always. Guys, if you're not already a follower here on TikTok, go ahead and drop a follow so I can pin your comments up. Make sure I answer everybody's questions. And we'll be going here for about 15 more minutes. 15 more minutes. And then you boys got to get some rest. Appreciate you, Flowshot, for hopping in every day, man. Flowshot knows. He can tell the chat. Your boy never misses a stream day, man. I hit you with 2 streams yesterday and the radio show on San Diego Sports 760. I hit you with 2 today, you know, and the YouTube show. I got tomorrow I'll be back on 2 times again for you. You know, the voice is getting tired, but appreciate your guys' support out here. If you missed my radio show on Wednesday, go ahead and check me out next Wednesday on San Diego Sports 760 or on the iHeartRadio app. If you're not already a member of the Discord, I will be posting the links for the radio stream so you can catch my fantasy roundup every week on the Discord. So make sure you guys join up there. Would love to see you in the Discord. Totally free. Head to the website, dynastypricecheck.com, pinned on my profile here, and would be happy to see you guys in there. I got Ash in here saying Josh Jacobs and Khalil for JSN. Yes, give me JSN. Jay Millie says, which Chiefs running back would you start in a bad situation? Probably would go Brashad Smith if it's a PPR. If not, I'll take Kareem Hunt in the flex spot and just hope he gets a touchdown. Flowshot says the most consistent fantasy streamer with actual good advice, unlike others. Thank you, Flowshot. Appreciate you kindly. Follows it up by saying no Derrick Henry touchdown. Got me so sick. It's true, dude. We watched him get stuffed at the 1-yard line twice in a row, and I was like, I cannot believe that this is happening again. I started Derrick Henry in a lot of leagues this week. Is my team solid? Jaden Daniels, Herbert, Achane, Cook, Dobbins, Warren, Nico, Devonta Smith, Debo. Yeah, I like it. I think you got a lot of really high-powered guys here, but I'd be tearing off Jaden Daniels. You got Justin Herbert. I don't even need Jaden Daniels. Like, I'd way rather have another solid wide receiver rather than playing Debo. So if you could split off Jaden Daniels and get a stud wide receiver, I'd love it. Enzo, thanks for the follow, man. If you guys are watching over on TikTok and you're not already following, please drop a follow so I can pin your comments up here. So we got Rate My Team, Daniel Jones, Devon Achane, James Cook, JSN, Amon-Ra, Jake Ferguson. Yeah, that's a loaded roster, man. Loaded roster. You think sorry, Flowshot. Do I think Ray McLeod's going to make any noise? No, dude. I don't think Ray McLeod's going to do anything. These are some of these names in fantasy that people get all hyped on, but they'd really turn out to be nothing and just frustration at the end of the day. I've got Allen saying T. Higgins or Chase Brown. Probably I'll lean Chase Brown, just more consistent volume. Ismail is saying Bo Nix or Purdy. I'll probably play Bo Nix just in case Purdy gets hurt again early on and goes out. You know, that would be the reasoning. Let's see. Barcode saying 6'2", 250 getting stuffed at the 1 yard line is crazy. It's true. That is crazy. That is crazy. Cuban Missile says start Jennings or Dobbs. I'll probably lean Juwan Jennings just barely here. Kyler Murray or Jaden Daniels. Probably Jaden Daniels, man. Angel is saying London for Hall and Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm probably just going to hold Drake London here, to be completely frank with you. Bo Nix against Houston. Yeah, man. You know, watch what Seattle did to him. Seattle had no issue. San Francisco put up points. I think they'll be fine. Adrian says, which wide receiver would you target if you wanted to trade Daniels? Yeah, like I was saying, man, I think I'd be in the range of looking for a Devontae Adams, a Teteroa McMillan, maybe before the full breakout here. If I could go get Chris Olave, I'd do it. If I could go get, let me see, Rashee Rice, I'd for sure do it. I just don't think that deal happens anymore. I'd probably even do it for Jalen Waddle, to be completely honest with you. I'd do it for Michael Pittman. I'd do it for, I'd do it for any of those guys there. Keep London or Olave, or keep, probably London, just barely. Olave's got a tough matchup this week. Plus, I don't like that we're getting the very first game out of Tyler Shook here, and I don't think he's going to do anything. Chris is saying, is Monungai a start without Swift? Yeah, I think he is. Last King saying, you got any hope? Tyrone Tracy's my RB2. Yeah, I mean, from the standpoint that I think Tyrone Tracy will get you through the rest of the season with like flex RB2 numbers, that's probably fine. I don't feel fantastic about rolling him out there, but, you know, it doesn't sound like you got better options. I'm going to pin some of these comments. Guys, if you're over on TikTok watching, make sure you're following so I can pin your comments here, make my chat a bit more readable. Juggling across 3 different platforms here, so would appreciate it. I got CD, Wilson, Cook for Jamar, London, and Tyler Warren. It just seems like a pretty lateral trade to me. I mean, like, I'd barely lean the CD and Cook side, just because I think you're getting a, you know, solid RB1 the rest of the season here, and London's been a bit boom bust, but again, these trades are pretty lateral. Do I do NBA fantasy? No, unfortunately I don't, man. Unfortunately, with how much time and effort I spend putting into fantasy football here to try to be the best and help you guys, you know, win as many leagues as possible, like, if I was doing any research on the NBA, I would just be completely and utterly underwater. I resent Jax is saying, someone dropped Ferg. Do I drop Pollard? He's my best option. Or do I have Warren? You know, you're picking up Ferg for sure. I'd rather just flex Jake Ferguson than Tyler Warren straight up the rest of the season. Rain, what's up, man? Thanks for coming through on the tube, man. He says, glad to see you. How's it going? Yeah, it's going all right, man. It's going all right. We've been working real hard out here trying to juggle all the jobs and try to grow this as well. You know, double streaming every day. Cranked a 2.5 hour members only live stream today in the Discord, and then back here right after the game doing the film breakdown, and then streaming again for you guys till late at night. Radio show every Wednesday, trying to juggle the rest of it. Life is good, man. I got no complaints out here. I gotta be blessed. Y'all are helping me grow a platform here, and I got a great dog and a great girlfriend and a good life, so I got nothing to complain about. So sorry if I sound tired. My voice is dead here. I've been talking for hours a day every day here, but I'm grinding as hard as I can to try to make something of myself here in the football space. So appreciate you guys coming along with me. I got Ben Jones saying, would you start Mahomes or Herbert this week? I probably just got to keep riding Mahomes here. He's playing pretty damn well. I got Chris saying Keon Coleman or Kupp. Probably would be going with Kupp here. Keon Coleman's shown me almost nothing, but it's not like Cooper Kupp's being that great either. I got Adrian saying, I'm considering doing Daniels for Ibuka. What do you think? If in redraft, I'm fine with this. Yeah. If it's Dynasty, no. Last King says, I got Chase Brown and Judkins, but this week it's either Tracy or Hunt for Judkins. Yeah, I think you got to go Tracy just based off volume there. Dante. Who's better rest of season, Kyler or Dart? It's probably pretty close. I'll probably go with Dart, dude. I'm a serial Kyler Murray hater though. Ashwin, what's up, man? I'm gonna pin you up, guys. If you're watching over on TikTok, please make sure you're following so I can pin your comments here. I got Aaron Jones or Kamara. Give me Kamara, man. I got Nico away for Genti. I'll take the Genti side here. Buy low on Ash and Genti. I got Rob Bell saying, what do we think of Dyke as because of the bye weeks? Yeah, I just don't want any part of this Titans offense, honestly, bro. I'm going to say no. Dom says, if you guys are looking for a good play this week on the bye weeks, I think Bam Knight got a great matchup against the Dallas defense and still no Trey Benson, so I'm good with it. Trade Jacobs, Dowdle, Stevenson for Achane and Herbert. If you need a quarterback, I'll do this. Flow Shots asking about stashing Cedric Tillman. Here's one of the things, man. I'm just going to put it completely honestly. I'm too tired to sugarcoat it for you guys. Cedric Tillman will never start in a lineup that's winning the championship. Like, he's just not. He's never going to do that for you. You know, maybe it'll be a flex play on some bye weeks down the line here, you know, at some point in his career. But Cedric Tillman, he's nothing to write home about. I mean, if you can stash him and use him as a throw-in in a trade down the line somewhere, fine. But I'm not, like, stashing him with any hopes I'm ever getting, you know, play out of him that gets me excited as a fantasy owner. So QJ or Tet, I mean, here's one of them where it's like, I feel remiss to not tell you to play Ted or McMillan because the talent profile is so much better. But Green Bay's defense is significantly better. And you do get a matchup against the Tennessee Titans who get the top taken off them all the time. So if you're going to see a Quentin Johnston week, that's going to actually net you return. It's probably going to be this week. So I'd consider playing Johnston here, even though I hate saying it. I almost never take matchup over talent. So Colby over on the tube. What's up, Colby? He says, rest of the season, Otten or Goddard. I think you got to go Goddard, man. I mean, Goddard's just been giving you way too much red zone usage to consider not playing him here. Leo, what's up, man? Pinning you up. He says, Dak or Daniel Jones. Got to play Dak, man. Got to play Dak. Guys, if you're one of the folks watching over on TikTok, please make sure you're following so I can pin your comments, make my chat a bit more readable. I'd greatly appreciate it. I see folks like Flowshot asking me about the Seahawks, so that'll get me talking. Where do I rank the Seahawks defense? Yeah, I think, you know, I'm going to sound like a homer for sure, but I think they're a top 5 unit. I mean, that defensive line is playing fantastic. I think, you know, you're seeing DeMarcus Lawrence get some play. Chenna Nwosu finally coming back from the injury and being very effective on the outside. Boye Mafe is having a sneaky good season where he's not logging the sack numbers you were hoping, but he's almost, you know, towards the top of the league on pressure rate. Outside of that, you haven't even seen a fully healthy secondary. You know, Julian Love's been battling injury. Devon Witherspoon's battling injury. Nick Eamon-Warry's finally just getting up and running. I mean, this Seahawks defense, sky's the limit here. You know, Jay Dalgo, thank you for the follow, man. He says, Amon-Ra for Justin Jefferson. I'm going to hold St. Brown. He's too consistent. Too consistent. To the Moon says, who should I start in the flex? T. Higgins, K9, Jalen Warren, Ricky Pearsall. I'm probably going to go either T. Higgins or Kenneth Walker here. Rain saying, JSN a top 3 dynasty wide receiver. Yeah, that's where I have him. I think I have him at wide receiver 4 overall in Dynasty. So I think, you know, he's right in that arena. Top 3, top 4. Hard to beat it. All right, guys. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for me. Like I said, I cranked a 2.5-hour members-only live stream today. Got the YouTube show posted for you guys and still cranked another hour-long stream tonight. Voice is killing me. It's 11:15 again. We got to work in the morning. I got to hop on off. I appreciate you guys so much for coming along with me. Regardless of what platform you caught me on tonight, I'd really appreciate a free follow. Really does a lot for a young streamer like myself trying to get out there and grow a name for myself here. Hopefully can help you guys win as many leagues as possible this year. If you're not already a member of the free Discord, please go ahead and hop over to my website, dynastypricecheck.com, and join the free Discord. There's a big button on the homepage. It's easy to find. Nothing to worry about there. I'll be back on for you guys again tomorrow, twice a day, every day like you know. Appreciate all the support we're seeing out here. If you haven't already checked out the YouTube show, the Trade Titans YouTube show on my channel, would mean the world to me if we could get some likes and some comments and some interaction on that video. Appreciate you guys. We had episode 2 drop this week. We're going to be coming at you every single week with a fantasy creator, just like myself as a special guest. With all that being said, greatly appreciate you guys. Thanks for your support. Do what you want to do. Love who you love. Be real kind and respectful to everybody out there. Let's see if we can make each other's lives better while we win a lot of fantasy championships, you know? Thanks for coming along, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.